There was a post that I talked about, if you can't raise your arms past 135 degrees, then I don't think you should be lifting overhead. I might have done a better job of just explaining it right now than the post, because hey, if that many people are not understanding it, it's my fault. A lot of times when we do those types of short films, Ed is asking me a question and then I'm answering. So the question was not part of the post, and that's fine. But the thing is like, whether it's that message or whatever happened, that post did very, very well in terms of reach. And when you have a lot of reach in an Instagram post, it starts to be seen, like when you hit search and then whatever the name of that page is. And this is a different audience, okay? This is real life Instagram world. Everything that I kept up on there, and I felt okay with how I was responding, because usually I won't respond, and usually there was a bunch that you probably haven't seen that I would just delete, because I don't want this stuff on my board. Like my Instagram is not this democratic forum for you to comment on what I'm saying. Aside from the fact that my Instagram will also reflect my core values, that if I don't like someone's Instagram, I'm not going to post anything about it. That's just how this is gonna go. But keep this in mind in case there was any confusion. If your arm can only do this, I don't think this is a great idea. And you can even see in my stiffness, and that's a great example for me to use, because I'm strong enough to overcome my stiffness. And it might look really, really good from over here. And you might think I'm just warming up. But for years, my shoulders are now stiffer than what they used to be, whatever. I don't get a lot of work done, probably since COVID, and moving to Florida where I don't have as much access to getting work done. I'm pretty sure, only because there wasn't a lot of people to actually try this, I might have been one of the first people to press the beast off of one knee. Now, again, I don't find that to be terribly impressive. There's not a lot of people do it. And I made it look good. The reality is at that time, I was probably bench pressing a lot of weight, meaning these pressing muscles were really strong and primed to deliver something. In theory, I should be able to press way more than 106 pounds over my head. So even if you actually can get that stiff joint into place, at best, you're lifting less weight than what you could, and the resistance is from non-contractile elements that probably aren't going to adapt from one rep of something. And at worst, you get hurt, something breaks. Because if your tissues are never in a particular position because they're so stiff to get there, the likelihood that they have the direction of fibers to handle a big weight in that direction is not very high. So that's what that post was about. 135 was not to be confused with one wheel. Because first of all, that's what I would say. I would say one wheel. I almost never say 135. I don't say a quarter. I say put 25 on, put a 10 on, put a little one on, put a big wheel on, 100. That's how I would communicate. So again, 135 was, if this is 90, then that's 135. I'm like, if you can't get your arm, a straight arm, past your chin or your nose or your eyes, the nose and eyes would typically be around 135 degrees. We've even seen this as what is commonly shown in the TPI performance screen, the lat test. Now, I don't know that that's always going to be lat length. I think it's a great place to start. Clearly, for somebody like me, it's not the lat, it's more of a shoulder capsule limitation, but it's still a great screen so that you start to ask more questions of that movement strategy, because it will be crucial for something like the golf swing, but it would be crucial to any overhead lifting. And then I was suggesting to do landmine presses or other things of that nature. So that's what that post was. It was, I get in the deep end, and I need to be in the deep end if I want to accomplish what I want to accomplish on Instagram. But to me, that's a very, very easy message, and very, very strange for me to understand, not because they misunderstood it. If you misunderstood it, fine. But if you can't get into a position under any circumstances, there is no crane that is gonna pull someone's arm that far, how do you think that's a good idea to be pressing? And then add into the mix of this message is that I kind of fill up the screen. Does it look like do I look like somebody that doesn't want to lift? Do I look like somebody that doesn't have somewhat of a skewed risk-reward profile for lifting heavy things? Really wacky. But that'll happen on Instagram, and I guess as the Instagram grows, which is hopefully the case, then these things will happen more often.